matter, kid? Don't you like clowns? Why? Don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?
Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round, and in honor of National Clown Day, which apparently is a thing, according to Google, I thought it would be fun to take a look at all the different types of creepy and terrifying clowns that pop up in horror movies and do a top 10 countdown of them. This is actually based on an article I did for the Halloween Year Round website, which I will link in the description. Check that out. Check out the website too if you love written reviews and written articles. Coulrophobia is a very real thing. A lot of people are terrified of clowns. I never have been. I mean, like, they're creepy and all that, and I get it, but they never really got to me the way that, like, my brother always had a fear of clowns. So I'm doing this list from a perspective of which ones kind of creep me out, taking into account I am not really scared of clowns in general. We are counting movies or TV shows, so either one is eligible. And we're going to use the definition of horror semi-loosely for some of them, but you'll see. So without further ado, let's slap on some grease paint makeup and scare some people. Number 10. The alien clowns from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Alright, so right off the bat, let's get this out of the way. It's a ridiculous movie. It's a fun movie. It's not really meant to be taken seriously. These clowns are kind of more funny than they are scary, turning people into cotton candy. It's a weird movie, but it's the kind of movie that it's like pure 80s awesome cheesiness. Now, the reason why they end up on this list at all, other than, being an iconic piece of 80s horror, that ventriloquist scene is the stuff of nightmares. It's like the whole movie, the memo was, oh, this is like a fun trauma movie. But for that one scene, it like goes full, Lee Wanell, James Wan, William Friedkin. Oh my God, what are you doing? Nightmare-inducing terror. So for that reason, they earn a spot on the list, albeit the lowest spot. Number 9. Cloyne from Clown. It's just this really kind of unsettling, disturbing, slow burn of a movie where, like, this guy is slowly turning into this, like, monstrous clown demon thing from folklore. And I think the creepiest thing about it, other than, the obvious body horror element, is just the fact that he's losing himself and he's becoming this thing. So, this is a movie where it's not so much that, the evil killer clown is out to get the main character, but the main character is afraid of what they're turning into, and that's scary for a whole host of different reasons. Plus, it's got some really gnarly practical makeup effects. Like, he tries to remove the nose, but it's like attached to him, so when he removes it, it's like all bloody and messed up. And for those who are into body horror clowns, this is probably going to be your movie. Number 8. The Joker from The Dark Knight. I had to include this one because it's not a horror movie, but it is a horrifying performance. And it was very close between including Heath Ledger's Joker or Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. But when it comes to the creepiest or scariest clown, in Joaquin Phoenix's case, we really get to know Arthur Fleck for like the first 2 acts of that movie before he really commits fully to becoming Joker. So it's not as scary or unsettling because we start off at the beginning sympathizing with him, not sympathizing with him at the end. If you do, you're watching the movie wrong. Whereas Heath Ledger's Joker is a nobody from nowhere. He just kind of showed up in Gotham, and there's just this really dark nihilism to him that I think, sort of was in the cultural zeitgeist at the time, in the post 9/11, war on terror, period. He's just this like cynical sadist who he doesn't care about anything. Nothing matters, and that's very much what he's trying to prove. So Heath Ledger's Joker frightens me, not because I think, he's going to come get me, but because he reminds me that way of thinking is very similar, eerily similar, to real-life murderers and just their complete lack and disregard for human life and for, society in general. Number 7, Captain Spaulding from Rob Zombie's Firefly trilogy. I mean, how could I talk about creepy clowns and not talk about Captain Spaulding? To be fair, he is kind of more known for a sense of humor, and in the movies that he's in, in Devil's Rejects, he's one of the main characters. He's not really a villain, per se. He's kind of, I don't quite want to call him an anti-hero, but he's a lot of fun. He's definitely twisted and sadistic, and that's kind of what you laugh at. The reason why he's on this list, because again, this is not the list of my top 10 favorite clowns, these are the top 10 creepiest clowns. So I put him on here, granted lower, because he has this ability, like flipping a switch, go from funny and sarcastic to brutal and terrifying. He always seems like he's goofing around, but then just in a split second, he becomes a sadistic serial killer. And I think there's a real danger to that. He is a true psychopath in the sense that sitting there, eating his delicious fried chicken is no different to him than stabbing someone to death or something like that. Plus, shout out to Sid Haig, who gave an amazing performance 3 times in a row. May he rest in peace. I remember how tragic it was that we lost him, right before 3 from Hell came out. I think it was either the last or one of the last movie roles he did, and you could definitely tell, that he wasn't well, but I was so glad that they got him in there at all, because even that one scene he's in 3 from Hell is probably one of the best scenes in the movie, just because even, given his age and given his health condition, Sid Haig steals every scene that he's in, and that's true in 3 from Hell. Number 6, Richard Stitches Grindle from Stitches. So this is kind of another, obscure, independent one that I don't remember where I saw it. I think I either rented it or I streamed it. But it's a guy who, out of all these, I think he's one of the only ones that actually starts out as, a legitimate birthday party clown. What clowns are really meant to be. They're designed to be children's entertainers, and somehow, the horror genre made them terrifying, much to the dismay of actual party clowns who take issues with movies like this. But I love how he just perfectly embodies sort of the pathetic clown trope. He feels like a modern-day Pagliacci, and then when he becomes, the supernatural entity, to come back and kill everyone, he's scary because it's as if, he's coming to kill people for their comeuppance. It's like the sins of the world made him, and he is the reckoning for it. So he's not so much creepy in his appearance or his manners, which he is, but what really got to me about him is the idea of what Stitches represents. Number 5, the clown doll from Poltergeist. Alright, before everyone comments, it's not really a clown, it's just a doll. I know, it's not a person or a being, it's an inanimate object that, was manipulated by the spirits haunting the house in Poltergeist. I know. All that said, the fact that this clown is so damn memorable all these years later, and he's just a doll. He's got one major scene where he's strangling the kid, which apparently terrified that poor actor in real life, because I think it was actually strangling him. The fact that it's so memorable and that's all it is kind of proves that less is more. In a movie that has a tree break into the window, a swimming pool full of corpses, and Craig T. Nelson yelling,
"You left the bodies and you only moved the headstones! You only moved the headstones!"
This clown still remains one of the most memorable aspects of that movie. And that is an impressive feat. Number 4, Twisty from American Horror Story Freak Show. I couldn't talk about creepy clowns in horror and not include Twisty. I know that, he's definitely one of the more recent ones, and there are others who are more famous, but Twisty, in just a couple episodes with not a whole lot of screen time, he is the face, no pun intended, of that entire season. We do later on learn that, like Stitches, he was sort of like a tragic Pagliacci character who, stuff happened to him. All he wanted to do was entertain children, and the world was cruel to him. But when we meet him in that first episode, and he's just, like, abducting people and murdering them while also, like, entertaining them, it's funny, but it's also really scary because it's like, you never know what he's gonna do. Like, imagine being captured by him, and you see him stab one guy, and then to his girlfriend, he, like, makes I made a balloon animal, look at this. I don't know why I made Twisty sound like Jerry Seinfeld. So, I love, and I get creeped out by the fact that you don't know what he's gonna do, and that's a scary idea. Number 3, Pennywise from Stephen King's It. I mean, what can I say about Pennywise? He's on my shirt. And he is very much, I think, the reason why clowns are so scary. I think Stephen King's It was one of, if not the first iteration where you have a clown that's absolutely terrifying. And the funny thing is, he used that disguise as a way to lure children because, back then, clowns are children's entertainers. They're fun. Just the fact that he is fear itself and that he targets children is, like, particularly sinister. What can I say? He's everything you ever were afraid of. He is the epitome of that, and he's just, name a more iconic scary clown. Number 2, Art from Terrifier. So you've got clowns like Pennywise, the Joker, and Spaulding, who crack jokes as they kill you. And then you've got Art. Art is on another level. Art was like the creepy clown that we didn't even know we wanted, that somehow manages to outscare everyone. The crazy thing is, he seems very ordinary. I know that they are kind of introducing some supernatural elements with Terrifier 2, which I can't wait to see, by the way. But in the first Terrifier movie, it just seems like he's a regular guy in makeup, and the fact that he's out on Halloween night, it's terrifying that he just appears like a normal guy dressed up. The fact that he is realistic, that he is plausible, at least in the first movie, it makes him 10 times scarier. Art does everything with a smile. He's very good at miming. And don't get me wrong, people are creeped out by clowns. People are also really creeped out by mimes, because there's something just weird about this guy that makes faces and pretends to be in a box and doesn't say a word. And that's kind of what Art does. He takes that. He's really more of a mime than a traditional clown. Even his color scheme, his black and white color scheme, looks like more of a mime. And what's creepy is this guy could go and kill a bunch of people on Halloween night and kind of evade capture. Number 1, Wrinkles from Wrinkles the Clown. Many of you have probably never even heard of Wrinkles. He was the subject of a 2019 documentary about this guy who dresses up like a clown, and parents hire him to scare their children as a punishment for them misbehaving. So they're like, you better clean your room or I'm going to call Wrinkles. I got his number on this card right here. That alone, just the idea that parents would try to scare their children with, like, the threat of a killer clown is a million times scarier than I think anyone on this list. The fact that it's a documentary, the fact that it's real. Well, watch the movie. I won't spoil it. Just watch the movie. But the fact that, like, this is a real guy who is like, you know what? I'm going to dress up as a clown and scare children for real. And I'm going to get paid to do it. And I'm going to, be enlisted by the parents to do it. There's something very kind of unsettling about that. I mean, I know I'm a parent myself, and, there's nothing more fun than leaving your children with long-lasting emotional trauma. That said, you have to draw a line somewhere, and I feel like hiring a clown to scare your children into behaving is probably going way over that line. So that is our list. Were there any clowns that I missed? Were there any clowns that, you think should have been on here? Were there any on here that you don't find that creepy at all? Let me know in the comments. Put your favorite clowns down there. Let me know what other top 10 lists would you like to see on this channel. I'm trying out new things. I sort of have a new semi-permanent set here. And, I definitely want to get back to making videos weekly. I know I kind of have been not on top of it lately, but I am looking to get back into it. So, let me know what you want to see. Don't forget to check out the website, HalloweenYearRound.com. That's where I have all the written articles, like movie reviews, other top 10 lists. This video was based on an article I did there, so there's tons of material on there if you're interested. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, then maybe I'll call Wrinkles the Clown and he'll pay you a visit. Till I see you again, stay scared by watching these movies. And remember, every day is Halloween.